Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. I hope you all students will be fine. A very good morning to all of you people. So today's topic is general anesthetics. And that topic is very important, students, and it is also a little bit difficult. So uh, please go through the lecture thoroughly and do the assignment present in the lecture. Half of that lecture will be covered inshallah today, and half of that will be covered inshallah tomorrow. So I'm going to start now the lecture. First of all, what is general anesthesia? General anesthesia is the state produced when the patient receives medications for amnesia, analgesia, muscle relaxation, and sedation. An anesthetized patient can be thought of as being in a controlled and reversible state of unconsciousness. And that why is that state of uncontrolled, reversible state of unconsciousness is produced? It is produced for doing any painful procedure like surgery. General anesthetic agents depress the central nervous system to a sufficient degree to permit the performance of the surgery and other noxious or unpleasant procedures. General anesthesia uses intravenous and inhaled agents to allow adequate surgical access to the operative site. A point which is worth noting is that general anesthesia may not always be the best choice for the patient, depending upon the clinical presentation of the patient, which is decided by the surgeon or anesthetist, whether the general anesthesia will be suitable for the patient or local or regional anesthesia may be more appropriate. In certain conditions, local or general anesthesia may be more appropriate as compared to general anesthesia. So it will be decided by the anesthetist or surgeon. Now this is the classification of general anesthetic agents. Basically two classes: inhalation agents and intravenous agent. Inhalation agents, there are next further two categories: the agents which are present in the gaseous form and the agents which are present as volatile liquids. In the gaseous state, only nitrous oxide is the agent which is produced in the which is present in the form of gas, and the other inhalation agents which is present as volatile liquids include ether, halothane, and fluorine, isoflurane, desflurane, and sevoflurane. Now the intravenous agents include inducing agents uh, from which anesthesia is induced. These agents include thiopentone, methoxytone sodium, propofol, and etomidate. Next, slow-acting agents. Slow-acting agents are helpful in maintaining the anesthesia. In this class, benzodiazepines is included, and in benzodiazepine, further drugs are included, which are important in maintenance of anesthesia, include diazepam, lorazepam, and midazolam. Next, dissociative anesthesia. Dissociative anesthesia is produced by ketamine. Now, what is dissociative anesthesia? I will discuss in detail, inshallah, with ketamine. Next, neuroleptic analgesia. Neuroleptic analgesia is produced by fentanyl. And what is neuroleptic analgesia? I will discuss in detail, inshallah, with fentanyl. Now, what is basic mechanism of general anesthesia? The major targets of general anesthesia are the ligand-gated ion channel. Important of these channels are the GABA receptor gated chloride channel. Examples: many inhalation anesthetics like barbiturate, benzodiazepines, and propofol, they activate GABA receptor, and when they activate GABA receptor, they increase the conductance of chloride through these chloride channels, potentiate the GABA. They potentiate the GABA to open the chloride channels. And now this is structure of GABA. GABA A receptor have four transmembrane ion channel. GABA receptor consists of 5 subunits arranged around a central pole: 2 alpha, 2 beta, and 1 gamma. Normally, GABA receptor mediates the effects of gamma aminobutyric acid, which is a neurotransmitter, the major inhibitor neurotransmitter in the brain. GABA receptors are found throughout the central nervous system. There is net inhibitory effect, reducing activity of the neurons. When the GABA receptor is activated, then there is a net inhibitory effect, reducing activity of the neurons. General anesthetic agents bind with these channels and cause opening and potentiation of the inhibitory channels. which will lead to inhibition and the state of anesthesia. That is what anesthesia is produced through this mechanism. Now, this is the picture of GABA receptor complex. Receptor sits on the membrane of its neuron at the synapse. GABA, which is the endogenous compound, GABA causes GABA to open. Drugs don't bind at the same site with the GABA receptors. This is important point whether the drug uh, act upon the same GABA receptors and produces is the state of anesthesia, but they do not bind at the same site with the GABA. The binding, the binding of these, there are different sites of the drug for binding with the GABA receptor. GABA receptors are located between an alpha and beta subunit. No, the other mechanisms, but basically the major mechanism is GABA receptor. The other mechanisms which are maybe important, but there are minor mechanisms. Glycine, like some agents, barbiturates, propofol, and some other agents, they activate the glycine receptors in the spinal cord and the medulla. Uh, Glycine receptor also increase the conductance of chloride ion, and it also lead to inhibition. And NMDA aspartate receptors, they are type of, or N-methyl D aspartate receptors, they are type of glutamate receptors. Nitric oxide and ketamine selectively inhibit NMDA receptors. NMDA receptors are the type, they open the excitatory channels, most probably calcium channels. So nitric oxide and ketamine selectively inhibit these receptors and produce the state of anesthesia. But in uh, but the major mechanism which is involved in producing is anesthesia is through the GABA receptors. General anesthesia is a reversible state of CNS depression causing loss of response to and perception of stimuli. For patients undergoing surgical and medical procedures, anesthesia provides five important benefits. That is sedation and reduced anxiety, lack of awareness and amnesia, skeletal muscle relaxation, suppression of undesirable reflexes, and the state of analgesia. But all these five benefits may not be produced solely by general anesthetic agents. Other agents may be combined to produce these effects. So, as I have told you, no single agent provides all desirable properties both rapidly and safely. So, several categories of drugs are combined: IV, intravenous route, and inhaled route. Inhaled anesthesia, IV and inhaled anesthesia, and pre-anesthetic medications, they combine together to produce such effect. So, they combine together to produce optimal anesthesia, and that optimal anesthesia is known as balanced anesthesia. Now the patient factors in selection of anesthesia. Drugs are chosen to provide safe and efficient anesthesia based upon the type of the surgical or diagnostic procedure, the characteristics of the patient such as organ function, medical conditions and concurrent medications which are taken by the patients like hypertension and history of hypertension and bronchial asthma. They affect the choice of anesthetic agents. Next, what is the effect of anesthetic agents on respiratory system? All inhaled anesthetic agents, they depress the respiratory system, but they are bronchodilators. They depress the respiratory system to some extent, but all anesthetic agents are bronchodilators. Now, what is the effect of anesthetic agents on liver and kidney? General effect: the release of fluoride, bromide, and other metabolic products of the halogenated hydrocarbons. Halogenated hydrocarbons, which are mostly the inhaled anesthetic agents, they can affect these organs, especially with repeated anesthetic administration over a short period of time. Uh, Next is what is the effect of anesthesia on pregnancy? Effects of fetal organogenesis are major concern in early pregnancy. Nitric oxide can cause aplastic anemia in the unborn child. Older clefts have occurred in the fetuses of women who have received benzodiazepines. Diazepam should not be used routinely during labor because it results in temporary hypotonia and altered thermoregulation in the newborn. So, according to the condition of the patient, anesthetic agents may be decided by the anesthetist. And it is very much important because side effects can occur if the anesthetist do not consider the condition of the patient. Next, what is the effect of anesthetic agents on nervous system? The existence of neurological disease like epilepsy or myasthenia gravis, it influences the selection of certain anesthetic agent. So proper history should always be taken before the induction of anesthesia. A patient history of genetically determined sensitivity to the halogenated hydrocarbon induced malignant hyperthermia. So, what is malignant hyperthermia? History should always be taken about malignant hyperthermia. It is the sensitivity, genetically determined sensitivity to the halogenated hydrocarbon. Halogenated hydrocarbon, they induce malignant hyperthermia. It is an autosomal dominant genetic disorder of the skeletal muscle that occurs in susceptible individuals undergoing general anesthesia with volatile agents and muscle relaxant. So it is the autosomal dominant genetic disorder which occur when the patients in susceptible individuals when they undergo under general anesthesia probably with halogenated hydrocarbons or with volatile agents and in combination with muscle relaxant which includes succinylcholine. And what are the symptoms of malignant hyperthermia? It consists of rapid onset of tachycardia and hypertension. There will be severe muscle rigidity and hyperthermia, and the treatment for malignant hyperthermia is dantrolene. So I will discuss again with the halothane what is malignant hyperthermia. Now the pre-anesthetic medications, they serve to calm the patient, they relieve the pain, they protect against certain undesirable effects of subsequently administered anesthetic agents or the undesirable effects of the surgical procedure. A pre-anesthetic medication facilitates smooth induction of the anesthesia, and they may also require the dose of the anesthetic agent. So pre-anesthetic medications is necessary for the patient. Now, which medicines are included in pre-anesthetic medicines? Pre-anesthetic medicines include benzodiazepines. In benzodiazepines class, mostly midazolam or diazepam is included. Midazolam or diazepam, it will reduce the anxiety and it will lead to amnesia. Diphenhydramine, which will given to the patient, diphenhydramine, it is a antihistamines. They prevent allergic reactions. Next, histamine receptor blocker, H2 blocker like famotidine, ranitidine, they should also be added in pre-anesthetic medicine. It will reduce the gastric acidity. No, antiemetics like ondansetron, it prevents aspiration of the stomach contents and also post-surgical vomiting. Acetaminophen or opioids, most probably opioids are used for analgesia if it is if the procedure is very painful or a major surgical procedure. Anticholinergic drugs like glycopyrrolates, scopolamine, they are added to reduce bronchial and salivary secretion. They are helpful for in the case of irritant inhaled anesthetic agents because irritant inhaled anesthetic agents cause excessive salivation and excessive secretion. Concomitant use of other drugs, patients may take medications for underlying disease or abuse drugs that alter the response to the anesthetics. For example, alcoholics have elevated levels of liver enzymes that metabolize the anesthetic agents, and drug abusers may be tolerant to opioids. So, proper history should be very important before the patient undergoing anesthetic agent. Uh, Alcoholics have elevated levels of liver enzyme, which will metabolize the anesthetic agents, and drug abusers may also be tolerant to the effect of opioids. And now, what are the stages and depth of anesthesia? General anesthesia has three stages: induction, maintenance, and recovery. Uh, First of all, use pre-anesthetic medication. Then, induction should be done by IV thiopental or other suitable alternative. Then muscle relaxant should be used. After the using of muscle relaxant, intubate the patient, and when intubation is done, then use a mixture of nitric oxide and halogenated hydrocarbon. With the help of nitric oxide and hydrogenated hydrocarbon, uh, uh, there is maintenance of anesthesia. Then maintain a maintenance of anesthesia and monitor the patient periodically. Then finally, when the surgical procedure is done, withdraw the drugs and recovery of the patient. So first of all, pre-anesthetic medication is done, and then there is induction of the patient suitable with IV agent. Then muscle relaxation should be used, intubate the patient, and then finally there maintenance of anesthesia should be done with the suitable agents, and then we have to monitor the patient, and finally we after the surgical procedure we withdraw the drugs and there will be recovery of the patient. Now, stages and depth of anesthesia. What is induction of anesthesia? The period of time from the onset of administration of the anesthetic agent to the development of effective surgical anesthesia in the patient. It is the induction of anesthesia कि आपने anesthesia induce करना है जब उसको आप लोग एडमिनिस्टर करेंगे एनेस्थेटिक एजेंट्स और तब से एनेस्थीसिया इंड्यूस हो जाएगा कब तक है इसकी स्टेज द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ इफेक्टिव सर्जिकल एनेस्थीसिया जब तक सर्जिकल एनेस्थीसिया की स्टेज अचीव नहीं हो जाती Induction depends upon how fast effective concentrations of the anesthetic drug reaches the brain. Thus, general anesthesia is normally induced with an IV agents, most probably with IV thiopental, which produces unconsciousness within about 25 seconds, and propofol, which will produce unconsciousness in 30 to 40 seconds after injection. So, most important agents which will help put in induction of anesthesia are thiopental and propofol. At that time, additional inhalation or IV drugs may be given to produce a desired depth of surgical stage 3 anesthesia. This often includes an IV neuromuscular blocker such as rocuronium, vicuronium, or succinylcholine to facilitate tracheal intubation and muscle relaxation. Next, inhalation induction for children without IV access, like in cases of non-pungent agents, agents such as halothane or sevoflurane may be used to induce general anesthesia, but they are used very rarely. Mostly IV anesthetic agents are used for induction. Now the maintenance of anesthesia. After administering the anesthetic agent, vital signs and response to stimuli are monitored continuously to balance the amount of drug inhaled and infused with the depth of anesthesia. Maintenance is commonly provided with the volatile anesthetic agents which offer good control over the depth of anesthesia. Opioids such as fentanyl are also used for analgesia along with inhalation agents because the inhalation agents are not good analgesics. Now, recovery, the time from discontinuation of administration of the anesthesia until consciousness and protective physiological reflexes are regained. It depends upon how fast the anesthetic agent diffuses from the brain. For most anesthetic agent, recovery is the reverse of induction. And recovery occurs due to redistribution from the site of action rather than the metabolism of the drug. The patient is monitored to assure full recovery with normal physiological functions, like patient uh, is monitored to assure normal physiological functions like spontaneous respiration, acceptable blood pressure, heart rate, intact reflexes, and there will be no delayed reactions like respiratory depression. Now, what are the stages of anesthesia? First stage is stage of analgesia. Analgesia and amnesia. The patient is conscious in this state, and maybe he or she is conversational. It starts from the beginning of anesthetic inhalation and lasts up to the loss of consciousness. Pain is progressively abolished or diminished in this stage. Reflexes and respiration remain normal. Its use is limited to short procedures. That stage may be limited to short procedures. Next stage of anesthesia is stage of delirium. That stage lasts from loss of consciousness to beginning of regular respiration. Patient may shout, struggle, and hold his breath. Muscle tone may increases, jaws are tightly closed, breathing may become jerky, vomiting and involuntary micturition may occur, defecation may also occur, heart rate and blood pressure may rise, and pupils dilate due to sympathetic stimulation. No operative procedure carried out in this stage can be cut. It can be shortened by the rapid induction and with the help of pre-medication. That stage can be shortened. Next stage is surgical anesthesia. It extends from the onset of regular respiration to the cessation of spontaneous breathing. This has been divided into four planes which may be distinguished as plane 1 moving eyeballs. This plane ends when eyeball become fixed. Plane 2, loss of corneal and laryngeal reflexes. Plane 3, people starts dilating and right reflexes lost. Plane 4, intercostal paralysis, shallow abdominal respiration, and dilated pupil. Next, final stage, stage 4 is medullary paralysis, cessation of breathing to the failure of circulation and death. So, inhalation anesthetic, inhaled gases are used primarily for maintenance of anesthesia. Depth of anesthesia can be rapidly altered by changing the inhaled concentration. Common features of inhaled anesthetic agents. Modern inhalation anesthetic agents are non-inflammable, non-flammable, non-explosive agents. They decrease the cerebrovascular resistance. When they decrease the cerebrovascular resistance, they may result in increased perfusion of the brain. They cause bronchodilation and decrease both spontaneous ventilation and hypoxic pulmonary vasoconstriction. They increase the pulmonary vascular resistance in poorly oxygenated regions of the lung while redirecting the blood flow to the more oxygenated regions. Movement of these anesthetic agents from the lungs to various body compartments depends upon their solubility in blood as well as in tissues, and also depend upon the blood flow. These factors play a vital role in induction and recovery of these agents.